Alright guys, today we are going to do some dogfight. On the F-18, we're going to go up against an F-5 and some MiG-29. Oh, there, I see him. I got a couple bogeys. Oh, yep, that's one. Alright. Box 2. Come on, get him. Splashed it. Woo! Alright guys, today we are going to cover how to create a simple dogfight mission so that you can just practice all you want. You don't have to be intimidated by getting onto a server and getting your butt waxed because you're just not experienced enough. And also, when you get on servers, sometimes you may not find anybody to dogfight against. Now, you could go to DCS webpage and download a single mission, a dogfight mission. However, they're there, but they may not be at your level, or you may not be at their level, rather. And they're intimidating, and you just can't get it. You can't get in the groove. They're too fast. They're too good, and you have to start the whole mission over again. So what I've decided is just to create my own dogfighting missions. That way I can practice at my leisure. If I want to practice all day, I can practice all day. And if I want to go up against a MiG-29, a F-5, or whatever it is, F-14, whatever it is, I can go against that aircraft. Today I'm going to show you how to create that mission. First thing we got to do is jump into the mission editor. Now, you can add this mission to an existing map or a mission that you have, or you can create a new one. Here we are in the map. This is the Caucasus map. I'm going to find something right about here because I like flying over all these mountains. So we're going to select this base here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a aircraft that I'm going to fly in. I'm going to create an AWACS so that I can communicate with it and it can tell me where the aircraft are. And then I'm going to create at least 3 groups of aircraft to spawn in when I'm ready for them to spawn in. So here is the airport that I want to use. We're going to first install our aircraft. So you come over here to the left panel, select this aircraft. It is the airplane group. I'm going to drop it right. Actually, I'm going to put it there. This one's going to be an F-18 because that's what I like to fly. Now, you can fly with any aircraft, whichever one you want to use. The coalition is USA, and I'm going to fly an F-18, so let me get over to it. That F-18 Lot 20, and I'm going to change this name to be F-18 as well. Now, it's important that you label these things because as we get into this, you'll see that you'll need to know the names of these things. None of this stuff really matters. What I'm going to do is come to the skin area here where I can put the weapons on. I'm going to select my own skin, or a skin that I like, that I customize. Somebody created it, and then I customized it for me. There we go. And now I need to add some weapons. I am going to add, now I can select one of these weapons, or I can just add in my own weapons. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click right on the number 1, and that's going to be this pot right there. I'm going to select a Sidewinder, and then number 9 is this one over here. And again, you can put any kind of weapons you want on it. You can make it just guns if you want. You can load it up any way you want. This is what I like. And I'm going to reduce my fuel to about 50. All right, so this is my aircraft. We are going to also tell it to, we're going to go back to the waypoint, and we want it to take off from the runway. That's what I like to do. I like to be able to sit in the aircraft, get my centered up in the aircraft, get my weapons loaded, whatever it is that I want to do. If you want to just start off in the air, you can do that by selecting one of the other options here. But again, I like to take off from the runway. So there I am. No need to give me any waypoints, anything like that. It doesn't make any difference because I'm going to take off as if I was scrambled to go get these aircraft. Now that we have our airplane assigned to take off from runway, we need to make sure that we tell the skill level to be client or a player. That way we can fly it. Now that we have our plane in place, let's go ahead and drop in the AWACS. So we're going to come back over here, select the aircraft icon there. We're going to drop that AWACS, let's just say over here somewhere. And we're going to look for, the task is going to be an AWACS. It's going to be the E3. Let's make sure that is what we want. Yep, that's what we want. And we want this to start right when the mission starts. AWACS, and let's call this AWACS. As far as the skill level, we're just going to leave it as a veteran because it's going to fly on its own. It's going to be an AI pilot. AWACS, all that looks good. And now we need to give it a task. So what we need to do is we need to assign it a waypoint. What we want it to do is orbit out here in this area. We're going to come here. We're going to give it we're going to hit this add waypoint button, and we're going to drop it right over here somewhere. Now that it has this waypoint, we're going to tell it to orbit right to that, back and forth right to this area right here. We do that by going to this add, the advanced waypoint actions. We're going to say add, and we want this to perform a task. That task is going to be to orbit. That orbit is going to be in a circle. We want the speed to be about 400, and we want the altitude to be pretty high. So let's say 30,000 feet. And we want it to start right away, and that should do it with this guy. All right, now that we have that in there, let's drop in some adversaries. Let's come over here. We're going to go back to the airplane icon, and let's just drop in a group right here. Now that we've put that aircraft in there, we need to tell it what kind of aircraft it's going to be, or what kind of mission it's going to be. This is going to be a CAP mission. This is going to be our adversary, so let's just make it a Russia. And this group, we're going to say it's an F5. F5 group. Let's call it a group because I'm going to add several aircraft to this particular group that's going to spawn in. And let's add a waypoint. Let's add a waypoint over, say, this direction. Now that we have that, let's assign the F5. So there's the F5. Let's go to the loadout page. This is the F5, but as you can see, it has no weapons on it. So we need to add some weapons. We can either select one of these, or we can just tell it what we want. I'm just going to select that. It doesn't really matter to me. That's fine. And we want this to be a late activation because we want to spawn these in when we're ready. So let's make sure that we select the late activation. Let me just go over all this. Let's call this pilot is going to be F5 group. F5 group. I always like to label these things because there's going to be a point in this process where you're going to need to refer back to this particular group. All right, so we have weapons on it. We have a waypoint. Now what we need to do is we need to go to the advanced waypoint actions because we want it to orbit just like the AWACS. We want it to orbit this, but we also want to give it some other instructions as to what it's going to do because it's going to be an AI aircraft. So we're going to say add. The first thing we need to do is tell it to orbit. Let's tell it. So we're going to go with perform task. We're going to say orbit, and it's going to fly essentially to this waypoint number 1, and it's just going to keep flying in that loop right there. Now we are going to do a circle. We want it to go at about, let's say 350, and we want these to spawn in at about 12,000 feet. Now you can select any height you want. Just keep in mind, if you're going to be in an area that has mountains, they could run into the mountains. So make sure that you set that high enough. So there is the task that it needs to loop. Now we need to tell it what's it going to do. Once we spawn it in, it's going to orbit, but we also want it to do other things. You can tell it, you can set some options, and you can say, or select the ROE, which is rules of engagement. You can select that, and then it's going to tell you what do you want it to do. You can select any of these. Personally, I like them to come after me. So I'm going to set this start en route task. And what is that action going to be? That action is going to be, we want it to search, then engage unit. All right, that group, that unit is going to be the F-18. So we're going to come here, F-18. And you see that it filled in the group F-18 and the unit F-18. And the weapons, we're going to say automatic. You can select any of these if you want. I'm just going to say automatic. All right, that should take care of it. We do have late activation selected. And let's go ahead and add some more. This F5 group, let's add 4 of those in. So now we're going to have 4 that are going to spawn in. And again, they're going to search me out and engage in a dogfight. Now, keep in mind, because we do say, even though we're telling it to search the F-18 group, they may attack the AWACS. So you have to be careful with that and make sure that you take care of that AWACS. All right, so there's one. Let's add another adversary. Let's put him in over here, and let's give him a waypoint. Let's add a waypoint, say down here. And this group, let's make it a Russian. And this group, let's call this the MiG-29. MiG-29. And it's going to also fly a CAT mission. The aircraft is going to be MiG-29S. And here, the pilot, we're going to go ahead and call it MiG-29. This is going to be also a late activation, so let's select that. And we do have a waypoint already. Let's go to the loadout area. And again, it has nothing on it, so we're just going to select one. I like that one. It's got missiles on it, so it can engage just fine. And let's go back to the waypoints. Now here we have to give it some commands. What is it that thing's going to do when it spawns in? What's it going to do? Again, I want it to search me out and then engage. So we're going to go to the advanced waypoint actions. We're going to say add, and we also want it to fly in a we want to perform a task, and that task is going to be to orbit. So it's going to automatically orbit. If we don't engage it and it doesn't search me out, it's just going to keep it's just going to keep going in an orbit, which is good because if I'm busy somewhere else, I can engage it when I'm ready to engage it. So we got that, and it's going to go in a circle. We want it to fly at about, let's say, 350. And again, we want it to come in at about 12,000 feet. And now we need to add the rules of engagement, if you will. So we're going to say add, and this we're going to do the same thing. You know what, this time we're going to do set an option, and we're going to say ROE. What are the rules of engagement? We want it to weapons free, so it can fire anytime it wants. All right, I'm liking that. At this waypoint, it's going to come in at number, where it comes in, it's going to be 12,000 feet. Let's go ahead and do that. And it's going to be nice and high. Okay, I think we got all of that situation. MiG-29, Russian, MiG-29, it's a veteran, and it is late activation, and then it has a CAT mission it's going to fly. It's going to perform a task, it's going to orbit, and then it's also going to engage with that ROE. Okay, now let's create one more, and let's put it, say, over here somewhere, and let's add that waypoint. Add a waypoint. Let's put that waypoint over here. Oops. Let's add that waypoint over here. And then we're going to do the same thing. This one is going to be, let's make this one another MiG, MiG-29-2. So there'll be two of these guys coming in to get me. I'm sorry, there'll be one. But if I want to engage a second MiG after I've taken out the first MiG, then I can select that. Now, you can make any aircraft you want. It could be 12 different aircraft if you want. And this is going to be a Russian as well. He's flying a CAT mission, and he is going to be a MiG-29S as well. Again, you can put any aircraft you want in here. That is totally up to you. And let's make him an ace, so he's a little bit more challenging. MiG-29-2, MiG-29-2, and again, he's going to be a late activation because we want to be able to spawn him in. When he comes in, we want him to come in at 12,000 feet, and at 430 is a good speed. Let's make sure that we load them out with some good weapons. Let's do that. I'm good with that. Late activation. Let's go back to here. And now we need to assign the orbit, and then we need to tell them how to engage or what to do about an engagement. We're going to go to the advanced waypoint actions. We're going to say add. In this particular time, we're going to say we want him to perform a task. And again, that task is going to be an orbit. He's going to perform a circle. He's going to perform that circle at, let's say, 350, and he's coming in at 12,000 feet. All right, let's add another advanced waypoint action. This one, let's go back to set en route task, and that task is going to be search, then engage the unit. And that unit is going to be the F-18 and automatic weapons. I'm good with that. Okay, that looks like MiG-29. Make sure that the names are in there. Everything looks like it's set up correctly. Okay, so a quick overview. We are going to take off from this aircraft. We've got the AWACS up that's going to give us some information. We've got a set of adversaries coming in here, a set coming in here, and then a set coming in here. F5s, MiG-29, and a MiG-29. Now that that's laid out, we need to come over to the trigger area. These triggers, now we need to create radio buttons, and the radio buttons are going to aid us into spawning them in. So the first thing we got to do is we're going to say new, and here we're going to call this radio buttons. Radio button. All right. And over here, there's not going to be any condition here. We're going to go right to the new, and we're going to say we're going to add a radio button. Radio item add. Okay, this particular add is, the flag is number 1 and the value is number 1. We're going to do that. We're going to clone it. This one's going to be number 2. This is basically creating the spots on the comms menu. All right, now that we have those, it's going, when you go to the comms menu, you hit the F10 button, it's going to show you these 3 options right here. Now we need to create a spawn button. So let's come to new, and we want to spawn in the F5 group. Oops. We want to spawn in F5 group. Make sure you name these things. Here, we're going to say what is the condition that's going to make that trigger work. Well, that condition needs to be flag equals. We're going to say flag equals. And in this case, we want it to equal 1. Once that condition is met, we're going to tell it to activate a group. So we're going to say group activate. Well, it's asking you what group. We want that group to be the F5 group. That's why it's important that you do this. One thing that I forgot to do is on the radio buttons, when you put them in, this one is flag 1, value 1. This name right here is going to be the actual name that's going to show up on your radio button. So make sure you put that name there. This one, the first one is going to be F5 group. Second one, we'll say MiG-29. And then the third group is going to be the MiG-29-2. That's the second MiG. It's only one, but we're calling it -2. All right, so back to this. We have this next trigger is going to be the spawn in button. The flag is going to equal 1 and 1. It's going to do what? It's going to activate this group. Now we also want it to give us a notification that it did spawn in. You can do it with a message. You can do it with sound. I always want to at least have a message. So the message, you can select any of these. I'm going to say message to coalition, but you could send it to the group, to a unit if you want. I'm just going to say the coalition is blue because that would be me. And the message is, this is F5 spawned in. And it's going to stay up for 10 seconds and there's no delay. Once they spawn in, that's going to show. Okay, so now we need to do this again for the other ones. So we're going to clone this one. This one is going to be spawn MiG-29. Over here, we're going to, this one is going to be number 2. And then this one is going to be, it's going to activate the group, but the group is going to be the MiG-29. That should make sense. So the flag is going to equal flag 1, value 2, which is this one. It's the MiG, it's going to activate the group, the MiG-29. Now we need to do that one more time. So let's clone this one. And this is going to be MiG-29-2. And then this one now, when you clone it, it actually clones these. So we need to make sure you come in here and change this. This is going to be flag 1, value 3. This value 3 now is going to be the MiG-29-2. So it's going to activate this group. And this message actually is going to be MiG-29-2 spawned in. And then I need to go back. That's correct. And then this one, I need to change that message to, I forgot to do this one. MiG-29. Spawned in. All right, let's review. These are my radio buttons. I've got 3 radio buttons that are going to show up because we're bringing in 3 different aircraft. The first one is going to be the F5, spawn F5 group. The condition is going to be a flag, and when that flag equals 1, 1, it's going to spawn. When that flag equals flag 1, value 1, it's going to spawn in. The action that it's going to take is to activate a group. That group is going to be F5, and it's going to give us a message. Message to coalition, to the blue coalition, and it's going to say MiG-29. Actually, it's going to say, it needs to say F5 group spawned in. Okay, the second one is going to be, the condition is flag 1. If it equals flag 1 value 2, it's going to activate the MiG-29. Yep. And then the third button is going to be, if the flag equals group 1 value 3, it's going to activate the group, and that group is the MiG-29-2. Now, once you get into the mission, you'll see that the 3 buttons. Once you spawn those in, and you want to come back and spawn in another aircraft, it's still going to show you those 3 buttons. If you go to hit one that you've already activated, it's not going to spawn in again. You'll have to recreate it, or you can remove that button. So there's ways here within these triggers that you can do that, but that's a little in-depth, and I don't think that we need to go there yet. If you wanted to dig in a little bit deeper, you can dig in a little bit deeper, but you essentially make it the same way. Okay, now that we have that all in place, AWACS, adversaries, me taking off, let's go fly the thing. Now that we're ready to fly it, it's gonna we have this pop-up menu coming up because we selected this as a client. If you had other aircraft that you were gonna fly and you assigned to client, it would show up on this list here. So my only option is the F-18. We're gonna select that, hit OK, and then it's gonna drop us into the aircraft. All right, so here we are in the aircraft. What I'm going to do very simply is show you what it looks like on the F10 map. Let's back out so we can get a good overview. Here's my AWACS. Here's where I'm taking off. Now, if I hit the comms menu, it shows up here. If you go to parent menu, it goes to the F10 other button. You're going to select that. Here are the aircraft that can spawn in, the F5 group, MiG-29, and the MiG-29-2. First one, let's spawn in. Let's do the F3, the MiG-29-2. There it is spawned in, and then you see you also got the message MiG-29-2 spawned in, and as you can see, it's already traveling. Typically, I would engage this one, kill it, and then I would spawn in the next aircraft. So I'm taking steps forward. Let's go back to when you're ready to spawn in the next aircraft. You can select, let's say, the MiG-29. It spawns in. There it is there. And let's say that I've engaged it, I've killed it, and I'm ready to bring in the last group. I'm going to hit my comms menu, F10 again, and then the F5 group. And there it spawned in. There's the F5 group. There's the MiG-29 group, and there's the MiG-29-2 group. And again, they're all coming. They're all going to follow their orbit pattern to their waypoint until they get close to me. Then they're going to engage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed this up so you can see it. You can see that the AWACS is following its course. They're all following their course until they get close, and then they're going to engage. And they will engage the AWACS as well. So they are probably going to take out the AWACS right down here. Yep, because I didn't kill that guy yet. And see how they're all merging towards the F-18. Typically, we would be dogfighting up in the air somewhere. What I like about this mission is that if I take on the MiG-29-2, I would be up here in this area fighting. When I'm done with that, I would engage something else, and then I would have to find it. So I would contact the AWACS. The AWACS would tell me, give me a bogey dope. I would fly that direction. Much more realistic, I would think. So that's one of the reasons why I like this mission, because you can jump in wherever you like. If you have a good dogfight session and you're like, I need to work on my radar techniques, then you can take time, get your radar correct, and then engage another aircraft because you spawned it in at your leisure. Or if you wanted to try a different weapon, you can just keep flying this just to make yourself more proficient. Now, as you can see, they're searching. They're going to fly their patterns because they're searching for that F-18. The F-18 is still on the ground. I never took off. All right, guys. So I hope that makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Like, share, subscribe, and let's engage, man. I always like engaging with you guys. If you guys want to donate to the cause, I do have a reference there, or a link to buy me a cup of coffee. All the donations go to support the channel. Your viewers, every time you watch it, those view hours add up. All that goes to support my channel. So much, much appreciated. And again, if you have questions, by all means ask. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you.